Welcome to our webinar. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk about the future of HR payroll reporting in the cloud. This will be covered by Paige Elkins, a solution engineer from our North America team. Paige will be talking about the current climate in HR and payroll, the top trends for HR and payroll for this decade, and the importance of cloud-based payroll systems. She will also run a quick demo featuring a web reporting solution that would cover most of the requirements that support the new HR trends. This session is recorded and will be available in the SpinifexIT YouTube channel after a few days. We see a lot of friendly names in our attendee list, and some new ones too. So, for those who are joining us for the first time, here's a quick intro of who we are and what we do. SpinifexIT is an HR and payroll solutions provider. Our main objective is to make HR and payroll faster, better, and easier for everyone. We've developed multiple solutions that cover payroll reporting, reconciliation, employee documents and correspondences, and help desk support. SpinifexIT has over 1,000 customers across 25 countries, supporting over 5 million employees. And with that said, I'll now hand you over to Paige, who will lead the session.
Welcome everyone, and thanks for joining. Today we are going to be talking about the future of cloud-based payroll and HR reporting and how SpinifexIT tools can help you in that journey. But first, we're going to take a broader look at what the current climate holds for payroll and HR departments. According to a November 2019 article in Human Resources Today, payroll and HR professionals should be on the lookout for these top 7 trends as we move into this new decade. Our first topic is GDPR compliance. For companies that have a European presence, data privacy regulations enacted by the European Union a couple of years ago created restrictions around how companies can store personal data, plus how that data must be made available to the individual subject upon his or her demand. This drove additional reporting and security requirements for company HCM systems. The next trend is titled Pay Transparency. This refers to the ability of organizations to easily and quickly report on payroll information to identify areas, for example, of gender pay discrepancies or performance evaluation related payroll changes. The elimination of any unintentional bias when it comes to paying employees their worth is the goal of pay transparency. Next up are 2 topics somewhat similar in nature: HR technology and embracing payroll automation. From the HR standpoint, we are talking about all those options in the marketplace to automate recruiting, onboarding, performance evaluations, plus things like tracking time off usage and balances, or perhaps providing training modules for employees to work through. Technology has really opened up the world of human resources management to so many more possibilities. And as for payroll automation, I'm sure it comes as no surprise to today's audience that the days of calculating payroll on a 10 key and manually writing out paychecks are long behind us. Automation mitigates the risk of making calculation errors, or perhaps incorrectly or not even at all remitting the proper payroll taxes. And it replaces handwritten paychecks with direct transmissions into employee bank accounts. It's the best solution for everyone, the company and the employee. And continuing with the list, next we have the rise of what's called the gig economy. This is simply that trend we are seeing where individuals may piece together their employment by working part-time at more than one job, or working as a temp worker, or even as a non-employee contractor. The impact to employers includes, well, the need for very robust payroll systems to effectively handle this variation of employment scenarios. The added complexity to company policies, for example, for whom are the benefits offered, such as paid time off and health insurance, or participation in retirement plans. And speaking of retirement, that leads into the next predicted trend, which is the topic of financial wellness programs. What we are referring to here is the increasing tendency of employers to take an active part in educating their employees in the area of financial planning. For example, this is often seen in company-provided seminars regarding planning for retirement or educational sessions on debt management. Then finally is our last trend to explore, and the one we're going to be demonstrating for you today, and that's the usage of cloud-based payroll systems. More and more companies are moving that direction so that they can enjoy benefits such as the ability to run payroll from anywhere and rolling out web links to their employees so that the individuals can check their own hours, pay stubs, vacation balances, and even print or download W-2s, giving them quick access to the data while freeing up the payroll department from all those phone inquiries. Online access to reports for managers is another benefit provided by the cloud, allowing managers to access their departmental payroll reports when and where they need them. The cloud-based reporting tool that SpinifexIT provides, which I'm going to demonstrate for you today, puts employee and manager self-service as well as operational reporting into the hands of the end users for those organizations running SAP or SuccessFactors HCM systems. So with that, I'm going to show you a system demo. So I'm going to navigate over here to a screen. And what you're looking at is an example of how our tile-based interface looks, where all the users come to run their reports. This screen can be accessed directly via URL or embedded into another application. For example, quite often that is done on the home screen of SuccessFactors as a tile there. Customers have the flexibility to design these tiles however they choose. So the way it's being displayed for you now is just one possible design. You can see that we have a tile for employee self-service for those reports made available to employees to run only on their own data. We have a tile for MSS so that managers can run reports on their teams where, by the way, the system automatically limits the data based on who reports up under that individual. Plus, we have the payroll administration tile for the payroll and HRIS staff to do all their operational reporting. And in case you're wondering what happens if any non-HR employee decides to click on that tile, no worries. The reporting tool respects the authorizations already in place in the SAP system for each user. So no one who normally does not have access to HR or payroll data is going to be able to get to it just by running these reports. It's not going to work for them. The fourth tile, scheduled reports, is so that users can kick off reports and then just check back later to access the results. Now I'm going to drill into the tile so that I can show you some of those reports that we include with the delivery of our software, which by the way is about 120 reports. So for example, let's go into the employee self-service tile first. You can see here that we have reports such as basic pay details, vacation, sick leave balances. We have an absence calendar so that employees can monitor their absences. Plus another really good one here is this report that shows their current benefit elections. Now, if I return back to the home screen, let's take a look at the manager self-service tile. So if I click in here, you can see underneath this employee data folder, there are reports on basic data such as employee contact information, birthday listings. Then we have leave reporting inside of a folder on leave. We have 6 variations here of headcount reports, and we have several payroll-related reports. So the manager could run these to see perhaps the overtime data on their employees. And there's a very flexible wage type reporter report that allows you to look into the detailed payroll results. Returning to the home screen once more. This time we're going to drill into the payroll administration tile, where your payroll and HR department folks would go to run their organizational reports. This is for their day-to-day business. So we're going to drill into payroll administration. You can see there's over 90 reports listed here. And on this next screen, we can see they're split into the topics of payroll, HR, and finance. Inside of the finance area, you would find there are payroll to general ledger posting reports, there's leave liability reporting, there's FTE headcount reporting. If we look under the HR tile, where there's 45 reports, they cross a wide range of topics: master data, leave balances. I'll go ahead and click in there for you. Headcount reporting, benefits, staff movement, even organizational management reporting. Going back just one screen, let's look under the payroll tile. Under payroll, you'll notice that the organization of the folders follows a typical payroll process flow. The first folder of master data validation has reports. It's those kind of audits that payroll teams typically run just prior to running payroll. They're verifying that the underlying master data is good. If we open up that folder, you can see, for example, there are reports that audit for missing master data, or this one that will audit the direct deposit details for every employee. Now, going back a screen out of our master data validation folder, once you've run payroll, you have a selection of reports in the payroll folders that you can run to pull out the results from that actual payroll run. We have, for example, a special folder here called pay-to-pay comparison. That's our special pay-to-pay reporting. There's 3 reports in total in there that allow the user to see results from 2 payroll runs side by side, including columns that show the variances, the differences between the 2 periods. Very valuable reports for payroll departments because it provides that audit step to say, did this payroll run come out with results that appear to be reasonable as compared to a prior payroll run? Now, if I drill into the post-exit reports folder, you'll see things here such as a payroll register, and there's reports that detail earnings, deductions, taxes, garnishments. For my illustration today of actually running a report, we're going to scroll down here to the very last one on the list, and I am going to run this basic wage type report for you. It's going to include all payroll details. So we're going to run it by simply clicking, and then we'll step through some of the features that you're going to see. So notice my screen refreshed, and I have a selection screen here on the right. This is where the end user enters in those things like, what is the time frame? What's the pay period I'm running this for? How do I want to select the employees? Is it wide open, or do I need to enter in some parameters to limit the employees that are being selected? Users also have the ability to set up those parameters previously and save them and then just pick them this time. I've done that. I've got a saved selection available to me. That's the US employees for period 1 of 2017. So I'm just going to click that, and it will populate my selection screen for me. So with that, we're ready to run this report. All the user has to do is come over to this action button, come up one step to the execute. I'm going to click that, and our report's going to run. It's going to bring back to me all the results from this particular pay period. They will be sorted by wage type, and then inside of each of the wage types, we'll be able to drill into the individual employee details. We should be finishing, and there we go. So you can see I have results. I can actually take them here into full screen mode to make it a little bit easier to look at them. So we'll do that. So notice they are by wage type. We have, if I drill into the very first one, all the employees are listed here. Notice there's a column for rate and number. That would be if it were a wage type that has like an hourly rate attached to it, you would have the rate, you would have the number of hours, and then the dollar amount. This particular wage type only has dollar amounts. If I close that one up, I'll scroll you down, and we'll look at a wage type that does have an hourly rate. I believe we have overtime available on this report. So here is wage type 1205, overtime. I have one employee who received this wage type. Her rate was 38 cents. She worked 59.5 hours, so it was a total of $22.61. We're going to exit our full screen mode. I do want to show you a couple other things here on the main screen. If I come back down to my action button, I have some output options. Scrolling up here, I can output this report to Excel. I can output it to CSV. I also have a print result button. If I click on that, it's going to generate a really nice looking PDF of these results. At this point, I can print this PDF. I also have a download button, so if I just want to save this out as a file, I have the ability to do that as well. I'm going to close our little printer screen. And the next thing I want to talk about is how to make our reports a little bit more useful to the payroll department, because to really analyze results and get to the decisions that you have to make based on those results, you want to have a really robust tool in your hands. One of the things that we can do is filter our reports still right here while we're on the web. So I'm going to show you some filtering by going back over to here to my selection button. This is where we entered our selection options. If I scroll through here, you can see there were a lot of fields we did not utilize. As I keep scrolling, there is one down here we're going to use this time as a filter. It's the wage type field. If I click on it, it's going to load in here all of the wage types that are available. I'm going to search for one. We're going to use that same overtime wage type. It is going to bring it up where I can select it and say apply, and that is going to add it in here as a filter. Now I could do the process again if I wanted to include more than one wage type. For now, we're just going to filter on that one. Come to my action button and re-execute. This time we are going to get results based only on that particular wage type. So in effect, filtering the report. So you can see I have the one wage type. If I open it in full screen mode for you, you can see again, it is just that one employee that we saw before, 38 cents, 59.5 hours, the total of 22.61. All right, let's exit the full screen mode here for just a moment. Now, I would like to say that it really is our goal to provide all the key reports a customer would use. As I mentioned, we pre-deliver about 120 with the tool. And the idea is they have those, but we also want to give them the ability to configure and customize. So using the filter like I just showed you, that's one way to do that. I'd also like to show you some other ways that you can create your desired reports. So you can customize, in addition to those 120 that we deliver. So we're going to start with this one as a basis, and then we're just going to create a new report by changing this one up a bit. To do that, we're going to come back down to our action button, and I'm going to take you up here to this green icon that says Configure Report. Once I click on that, notice it landed up here on a tab called Field Selector, and there's a folder called Master Data. I can drill into this folder, and there's a couple subfolders underneath it, and find columns that I would like to add to my report. So for example, let's say for this report, I need to run it with Cost Center included. Pick it up and drag it with my mouse, and I'm going to drop it here right after employee number and name. So a lot of master data fields that I can choose from here and customize the report still just right here on the web, right here as an end user, no particular superpowers needed. Another thing I can do with my columns is, let's say there's a column on this report that I don't care to see. I can come down to my configure columns. So that's just right underneath the field selector. Notice it lists all the columns from my report. I can open up the details. Let's say we open up the details for company code. That was the last column on the report. I have the opportunity here to check the box and say hide it. So I'm just going to do that. So we added Cost Center. We decided to hide company code. Let's do a rerun. So you can see, and I'll take us into the expanded mode. Here's our results. We do have Cost Center, and we no longer have company code. And by the way, it is also possible. Let's say you create this version, and you would like to run with this version the next time. You have the ability here underneath our green button to save this particular version of the report, this particular layout. So next time it will become available for you. You come in to run this report, you can run the pre-delivered version, the one that we had originally, or you can pick from what you've saved and run your custom layout. Now with that, it does pretty much bring me to the conclusion of what I wanted to show you today. So I do hope it's been a valuable illustration of the benefits that our web reporter can bring to a cloud-based payroll and HR implementation.
Thank you for the presentation, Paige. If you have more inquiries about our web reporting solution, email us at info@spinifexit.com to request for additional information or activation. Our web reporting solution is powered by Easy Reporter. Easy Reporter is an SAP certified application that helps your team achieve real-time HR and payroll reporting. Easy Reporter comes with 120 pre-delivered, customizable reports to fit all your business operations needs. With Easy Reporter, you can run any reports from a tile-based view on your laptop or mobile device. That concludes our webinar. Thank you for joining us today, and if you have any follow-up questions, don't hesitate to reach out.